Last Labor Day, actually the day before Labor Day, one of my coworkers invited me to go on a hiking trip to San Jacinto Mountain. I went over to his house Labor Day morning, and we packed lunches, and he gave me some water, and we took off for San Jacinto Mountain. Went up to the peak. It was a great hike up the peak. Then it got time to go down, and he just takes off and leaves me up there. I turned around and he'd gone, and at the time I was thinking it wasn't that big a deal. I think state park, I really can't, they're not going to let me get too messed up. But before I knew it, I was way down the mountain, and I knew I'd missed the turn wherever to get back down the mountain. Then I was hoping that somehow or another the path would eventually do something good for me. Well, that didn't happen. I was way down the mountain. So it was getting kind of late, and I figured, well, the best thing for me to do is just go on and get off the mountain. And that proved to be a big mistake from where I was at, because I was actually in a gully, a canyon. And I kept on going until dark. And all I had left after lunch was one apple. I had one apple left. And then I got up and I kept on going, and about noon I came to a 100-foot drop-off. And I looked at that, and I was wiped out by that time. I said, I was actually very euphoric right before I got to that point, and I was thinking, oh, I'm almost off the mountain. And then I came up to that water fountain, so, and so I was wiped out. I was very sore, so I collapsed right there, and I stayed there for a day and a half. And I could see the helicopters passing over me. I'd waved my jersey, and they never saw me. So Wednesday afternoon, I decided Thursday morning I'd try to hike out. And Thursday morning I made about an hour up the hill when I came to one of those places that I slid down. And there was no way. So I decided to hike back down to the place I was at, because I had water, I had a pretty flat surface to sleep on, and I had a reasonable blockage from the wind. I guess it must have been, I'm not sure exactly what night I prayed to God, but on one of those nights I knew I was in trouble. And basically what I prayed to God was, if you save me, please do this also. And I sang him that song. I was never really worried about dying. I was always felt in God. I felt I was in God's hands, so I never worried about the mountain lions or snakes or anything. I always felt God's protection somehow. I prayed that prayer, and then Friday, I wasn't too worried. I kind of felt like I might be rescued, but then I kind of think, well, you're just getting your hopes up. And about 12 o'clock, they came. Somebody spotted me. There was a rescue team called Rescue. They're numbered. Team number 3 evidently spotted me from way up high. They couldn't get down to me, and so they sent a helicopter into the canyon. That's the first time I saw a helicopter in the canyon. And he coming up low, and I heard him. And I was lying down, and I jumped up and I started waving my jersey, and he came on up, and I jumped on the helicopter. My confidence that I was in his hands, and whatever he decided was fine with me. If it to be there on the mountain and slowly pass away, I was fine with that. But if I were to make it back, I really wanted to have a more joyful spirit and not be worried about let the world's circumstances drag me down. In fact, where I stayed for the 3 days, I slept on a rock, I was protected by a rock, and it looked like the water was coming out of the rock. And so I thought that was pretty neat. This has brought me closer to God by making me realize just how close God is to our. He's not a far off God, He's right there. I know early on in my Christian life, I thought that God only was involved in several people's lives throughout the whole world. But for the masses, He was not closely involved. And I've come to realize, no, His eyes roam to and fro the earth, looking for those whose hearts are fully devoted to Him. And He truly is doing that.